let's jump into this top 30. So this next group, this next duo, I think Jose and Brodney, like I said before, were responsible for getting them into the top 30. I re-listened to some of their stuff and was like, okay, they may have had a bigger impact than I thought, but I need to know what you guys think about the 30th greatest rap duo.
We haven't seen this list. We have not seen this list. Gotcha.
30 greatest rap duo or groups of all time. Coming in at number 30, Kid and Play with an average position of 26.77.
What the?
Did somebody? I guess they didn't like that Kid and Play was 30.
What?
I guess the ghost of hip hop past was like,
what? No. What?
So let me get this straight. Let me wrap my mind around this. So Kid and Play is better than Black Star. Who else we name?
DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince.
G Unit, Brand Nubian, Onyx, Two Live Crew.
Man, come on, y'all.
You bring Brian and Jose for that one.
I'm gonna have to holler at my bros.
You're telling me a group more famous for a movie?
Listen,
than their own music.
Like I said, when I first started tallying it up and I started seeing it, I'm like, oh man, it looked like they getting closer and closer. I sat back and I listened to some of their stuff. And
what? What you listen to?
What did you listen to?
My Way. Did it my way. But they had just back then. So aside from hear me out. So aside from the gangster tracks and all the hardcore, they provided that backpack rap. They provided that fun. I ain't saying lyrically they the best or whatever, but for the generation and the period that hip hop was in right then, I'll have to say they were needed. I'm not even big fans of theirs, but when I listened to some of their music, I was like, I prepped myself into thinking, okay, I guess I can see why they're in the top 30. Now, would I say they better than some of the groups that bypassed them?
No.
I didn't. Because, here's the thing. I didn't vote for them at all.
I didn't either. No, let me tell you. Okay, them being 30. Actually. No, them being 30, and you talking about like they were needed in that point of rap music. DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince did the same thing. They were more popular, and they had better hits.
They were not more popular, and they didn't have better songs. If you actually go to the scene that we had, if you went to the limited video access that we had, the dancing, because I still see today people doing a Kid and Play dance.
Oh yeah, that's
to this day.
You know what? That's true. Good point.
They didn't went out. They didn't went out and remade House Party. Like you need to stop. You need to start looking into. Listen, in all honesty, I'm a big Will Smith fan. I love his movies. But if Will Smith hadn't done all of these movies, and if Will Smith hadn't put out Summertime, it'd be no comparison. Now, Summertime is a big hit. Whoever gave him that concept and was like, yo, you need to put this out on the Summertime, this is gonna play forever. Put him on the map. But aside from that, Kid and Play had hits. And I don't want to admit this, and I don't know why I'm sticking up for that side of hip hop, but they had hits, and I mean hit after hit. Like, yo, they was with Salt and Pepper. Actually, they all dancers. Actually, they all work together. Salt, Pepper, them, Martin, they all worked in the same building together. Ain't that something? That all of them got on somehow. But yo, what was that? Ola, aim.
Okay.
I mean, they had hits.
You know what? You're winning me over.
Like I said, if y'all, all right. So I'm gonna tell you like this: when y'all get a chance,
we haven't seen the list, so like
I get it, but when y'all get a chance, I want y'all to go and just listen to a Kid and Play playlist. And I'm not saying that y'all gonna be like, yo, they deserve to be top 30. But I will say y'all gonna give them more respect than y'all giving them right now. That's all I'm saying.
I'll listen to Too Hype later.
No, you're gonna listen to all of the hits. You ain't gotta listen to the albums, just listen to the hits. But nonetheless, coming in at number 29. Oh, one of my favorites. With an average position of 26.77. The Far Side.
Okay. Yeah.
Dude's a little bit weird. And I know they're from your coast.
No, I dig it. They started as backup dancers. They were dancers. Then they started rapping. So they were dancers in the Southern California scene, right? So they danced and they started rapping. And I'm gonna be rude with you. I know them by their two hits. I know them by Running and
she keeps on passing me by.
passing me by. That's it. And they're in the rotation. They're phenomenal, smooth tracks. Very different production wise in the sound that they created. 29, I'm cool with.
Dre?
Same here. Yeah, I'm cool with it. 29 is cool. 29 or 30, I ain't gonna hold you. But that's cool.
What about them? What about them, Dre? Like, what about them? Did you quite enjoy the melodies, the production? Like, what did you think?
Those two, the melody and the production. But to be honest, man, I thought those guys had a catchy pitch. I don't want to say it was a pitch, but it brought you. It was at a time where in hip hop, they were like the oddballs. You know what I mean?
They were.
And for them to come and have such an impact and catchy tunes that you could walk away after you turned the radio off and still hum, I thought was dope. You know what I mean? So I'm not mad at that.
Yeah. So for me, I just appreciated them because they all had different styles. Mm-hmm. Like most times, a lot of guys are similar in groups, but they had different styles. And I just think for a lot of people that weren't down with the Far Side, they got some underground hits. Like they got those dudes can spit. It's just that we only know them for their 2 radio cuts. So like I said, back then, they pushed out radio cuts more than they pushed out lyrics. So I had them in my top 30. So coming in at number 28, I thought this might have been a little too low for me, but I may be personally biased about it. But coming in at number 28, and this seems to be a lot of First Side flavor over here. So coming in at number 28 with an average position of 26.77, we have the Dog Pound, Corrupt, and that dude Daz. What y'all feeling about this one?
All right, full disclosure, I've never listened to a single one of their songs.
Gotcha.
At all.
Well, I'll jump in with this. Man, how about this? I had no idea that your boy was not from LA.
He's from Philly.
He's from Philly. But back then, I had no idea. So that you knew back then? Mm-hmm. Wow. Did he come out with something before then?
He came out with a little bit of stuff.
Corrupt from Philly?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
You would never be able to tell.
Right. But I did know he had bars. And Philly guys, man, I can't think of every Philly rapper has bars. Hands down. You know what I mean? Excluding one.
Will Smith.
We already talked about it, right?
Who one is that, Dre?
Huh?
Who one is that?
You know what I'm talking about. The one they thought was safe at the award show. Man, shout out to Will, man. I don't want no smoke.
So I guess that was the story all about how his life got turned upside down.
Yeah. Yes.
Safe to say. Safe to say.
Ferris, I'm so disappointed in you, Ferris.
I'm sorry, man. I never listened to the Dog Pound.
The Dog Pound?
It is the Dog Pound.
No, I thought you said Pen. Did you listen to Snoop?
No. I listened to Snoop, yes.
You listen. You gotta listen to. Listen. Whenever you get an opportunity, listen to that CD. They got some joints on there. Like he said, Corrupt is a spitter.
Dog food? Are we talking dog food?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
The first one. So Corrupt is a spitter, and unbeknownst to a lot of people, which I found out later on, Daz is a producer, and he produced all them beats. Once again, on the internet, what was supposed to go on Dog Food was Tupac's "My Mind Made Up." Did you hear the story about that?
No.
So the story was, back in the day, they used to put their music on Apex, some kind of drives. They used to put their music on when they were creating an album. So they had the album set up, and Lady of Rage and Inspector Deck was on the track.
Oh, you sent me that clip. Okay.
So Inspector Deck was on the track. So what happened was, when it was time to present the album to the record label, they couldn't find that track. So it was just laying around the house one day. Tupac came over, picked it up, and was like, "I like it." Put his verses down, and was like, "We're going to have to take Inspector Deck off because the music stopped at the end, and we're not doing no acapella stuff." But Daz was like, "Yo, just to let people know, he was on there. They left parts of the backgrounds of his vocals at the end of it." So if you know that song, you know what I'm saying, it's Suspect the Deck at the end, and they just took Lady Rage off because she used her verse on her album. So Daz produced that track. Daz produced a lot of tracks, and that dude is really dope. Lyrically, I think he's cool. He ain't on Corrupt's level, but when you got one dude doing production, the other dude doing lyrics.
Yeah.
It's
like one group that's probably on this list that we're gonna talk about a little later.
Possibly. You never know with these dudes. All right. So this one, if Ferris can talk about this one, I may be impressed. It's coming in at number 27 with an average position of 26.66. We got Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah.
What you got to say, Ferris?
The Message, baby. Yeah. Grandmaster Flash is one of the most impressive men in hip hop, period, because he built all his equipment himself. He built it all. He was a legit engineer. He built his turntables. He built his mixer. He built his speakers. He knew the electrical components of creating that. And then the message was back in those days. It was about being honest and authentic in the time, and that he wanted to point out like this is what happens on a daily basis in the Bronx. This is the message of the streets, and he needed somebody to help him produce that message, and it was Melly Mel. And Melly Mel, early on rap music, like we said early on when we were talking about the MCs, the MC was just the guy who's the master of ceremony. He's shouting out people, just shouting out occasions like, "Yo, we got the Black Spades in the house, the B-boys in the house," and it's kind of like the way Melly Mel kind of raps is a tad bit of the old school MC, the way he raps in kind of like a boom, 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 right? Stop, like, I don't know what one of the lyrics is, like, cops everywhere. It's kind of like that, right? He's kind of doing it like that. And they were one of the early ons. It's them, Sugar Hill Gang. They were the early rap groups that became mainstream popular and kind of took it out of New York and kind of towards the world. And their impact is tremendous, because it showed you another side of rap music, unlike Sugar Hill Gang that showed you of just a hip hop, the rappers delight type thing, just having fun. They kind of started telling the story of the streets.
Okay.
I'm a piggyback off of that, man. Those guys are the very beginning of gritty hip hop. Everybody took from that. All of your favorite rappers took from that. From the J's to the Biggies to the Nas. They all took from that formula. Man, he broken glass everywhere. Come on, man. Those guys, that song alone, and maybe we should do that eventually. A top 30 songs of all times. That for sure has to be top 10. Period. Just that song alone.
Yeah, sure.
And it showed America that, look, this is how them inner cities look. Yeah, y'all want to hear us? But we gonna tell y'all anyway.
Thanks. One of the most sampled songs ever.
How about that?
Also, too, like they were also they were kind of the bridge between the old school disco and the new school rap, because back in those days, rappers would dress up like Melly Mel and the Fierce Five. They're dressed in like leather, performing, right? Then they would take that leather off and wear their hoodies, their sneakers, and their jeans, and then they would walk out. But then Run DMC then just made their walk around gear their performance gear. So like they're kind of like the bridge to the everything, yeah. Or was it? Or no, Public Enemy. Sorry.
I can say that, homeboy, because listen, when I was picking out the pictures, they had a lot of stage attire on, and it was a lot of leather and lace.
No, exactly. No, their stage. That's what their stage attire was.
No, I mean, they were just all of their photos.
So
on the street corners, wherever. That's how they dressed back then, Ferris.
Yeah. No. Those are probably promotional shoots. Like
we grew up during that time, brother.
So you telling me people walk around like that?
First,
that's why. Okay.
Hey, when you get a chance, watch Beat Street.
Okay.
You know what
So,
I
man,
mean? Good movie.
I need new information, man, because that's what they said. That's what they said. Like Melly Mill said that. He's like, yeah, I would dress like Public Enemy and DMC all the time, but when I performed, I put on the leather red. That's what he told in an interview.
Maybe later on, but in the beginning, all of them did that. That's how come a lot of the rappers and kids nowadays look at older people kind of funny, talking about, what you mean I'm wearing tight this? I'm wearing a woman's blouse that. Because if you go back, listen, there's nothing new under the sun, and everything is repetitive and it just repeats itself. They wore women's blouses, they wore tight clothes and leather and had the chest out and all that other stuff. It's just, it's just what happened, especially during that disco era, bro.
Yeah. Hey man, Lionel Richie with the Commodores, man.
All of them.
Bedazzled glitter, and Lionel Richie and Prince, you'd be like, whatever, and then they go home with your girl, and you're like, how did I just lose my girl to the man with high heels?
No, Prince, listen, Prince only dude in high heels and the blouse that'll take damn near anybody's woman. But
yeah, exactly, that's what I'm saying.
And I just want to say this real quick, piggybacking off of what Farrah said. This is why this show is important, because we could bring this to light, and we can educate the people and let them know. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad you mentioned that first, because even with Run DMC, in the very beginning, they were wearing suits and all. It wasn't until Russell looked at how Jam Master Jay was moving and was like, yo, y'all need to dress like him. So Jam Master Jay was the reason that we all dressed the way we do in hip hop, or they dressed the way they did in hip hop at that point.
R.I.P. to the legend.
Because he was dressing like the hustlers on the street. Jam Master Jay was more in tune with what was going on in the streets. Not saying that Run and D wasn't, but he was in them streets. Yeah. And hip hop culture reflected that. You know what I mean? The hustlers in the streets. That's where the big chains and the fancy cars and all that. Because at one time, and I know I'm babbling on, so I'm gonna wrap it up. But at one time, the drug dealers made more than the rappers.
Yeah.
So the rappers wanted to hang around with the drug dealers for the look. You know what I mean? So our whole style came from the street. That's what makes the culture so beautiful. It's for us, by us. Go ahead.
We're not gonna do that FUBU.
Oh, okay.
And then they sold it to white people. We're not gonna do that FUBU. All right.
Yeah.
I'm more of a boo-foo guy.
You need to start that line first.
Boo-foo. I should.
Yeah.
All right. Coming in at number 26 with an average position of 26.11, we got Pete Rock and CL Smooth. I got is this an interesting take? Is it something that you agree with?
Let me check the list.
Well, while first check the list, I'm not mad at that.
I'm not mad at it either.
Yeah, I'm glad that they made the list.
Really?
Man, I feel like CL Smooth is very slept on, man. He's a melodic rapper. He said a lot of deep stuff. And man, Pete Rock production was amazing. Absolutely amazing, man. And again, like all the rest of the groups that split up, that was the beginning of the end. I think if those guys didn't split up, they probably would have been further along in the hip hop realm, I should say.
I'm a big fan of Mecca and the Soul Brother.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a good album. Troy, Reminisce Over You is the main track that people talk about. Okay. But big fan of Straighten It Out.
Straighten It Out.
And Take You There.
Okay. So in essence, what you're telling me first is same thing as Onyx, but Onyx don't belong in the top 30. So they had 3 tracks on the album, but they belong in the top 30. But
I'm gonna be real with you. They weren't on my list. So
okay, because when I first put them down, I was like, all right, Pete Rock, CL Smooth. But now that I think about it, actually looking at it, I listen. Pete Rock, phenomenal producer, even gotten better as a rapper. CL Smooth, like you said, melodic. He said some things, but the longevity of it, they really didn't do it like that.
Yeah. No.
So, yeah. Now that I think about it,
yeah, I'm not gonna. I haven't really gotten too mad at some of these, but if they weren't here, I wouldn't be mad.
What you mean, mad?
You know what I mean? I wouldn't be mad. Because some of these people, man, they just know the hits, and unfortunately, some of these rap groups they're just known by the hits.
Right.
You know, so that they look at the hits and they be like, oh, Troy, yeah, I know P Rock and CL Smooth. Troy, I know that. Cool, it's a great song, and they put them on here. But like, you know, as a full body of work,
right.
nah, I don't know.